Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not My Problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem,
but it's certainly someone's problem.
I haven't even finished my coffee yet, Kelly. What's going on?
I don't know. I haven't finished mine either. I was just sitting downstairs and we were trying to figure out when we were going to record next. And I thought, why am I talking about later in the week when I'm literally doing nothing right now?
And I was working on editing the podcast, so, already doing podcast things.
Yeah, so here we are, not completely fueled by our coffee yet.
No, not yet.
I just realized I have not taken my medication yet this morning.
Oh, well, you should probably do that.
It's probably a little too late. I don't know. Maybe I should go take it. We'll be right back.
Take it.
And we're back. Anybody ever tells you that people with ADHD are just addicted to their medication, ask them why I can never remember to take it.
Yeah. I literally had to train my dog, Ellie, to grab my medication every morning and bring it to me so I remember.
Yeah. But that said, ADHD medication administered and coffee now finished.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get the maximum effect. We don't usually record in the mornings.
No, well, I don't take my ADHD medication on the weekends because for some reason my psychiatrist thinks that I'm only allowed to take it Monday through Friday, so that's all he'll give me enough for.
Well, right, because, it makes sense when you think about it. Psychiatrists know that ADHD takes a vacation on the weekends.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
It's just not present in your life until Monday morning.
Yeah, and you only need it while you're at work.
Right. There's no other reason why you might need to
focus and
remember where you put things or concentrate or not sit down for 2 minutes to scroll on your phone and look up and 5 hours have passed and you had no idea,
Absolutely, because that doesn't ever happen.
Yeah.
And I even told my psychiatrist that I have a podcast that I have to do work for on the weekend. And he just made it sound like it was something like insurance isn't going to allow it. And I'm like, that's bullshit, because I know people, obviously, Kelly and other people, that get it every day.
Yeah, my prescription is for every morning.
Yeah.
I take the extended release form of the medication. Is that what you take? Yeah. And that's bullshit because my insurance, I have the worst insurance you could ever possibly have. Like the CEO was murdered because it's so bad. And my insurance covers it.
I'm on a branch of that insurance, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's under that. Yeah, exactly. They would. Like, he didn't even try to send it in that way. He was just like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Sounds like you need a new psychiatrist.
I think so, too.
Because you do have 2 jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I have to work over the weekend. I wouldn't even take it every day. Honestly, usually for me, I push myself one day to spend the morning working on the podcast. It's either usually Saturday or Sunday. I don't usually do both. So I would probably pick one and still take one day off because I do like giving myself a little bit of a break from it occasionally. Like if I take a vacation day during the week or there's a holiday, I will skip it just because I don't want my body to build up the tolerance and then have to up the dosage that I get, because that did happen the last time I was on it. But it's nice to have the extra pills. So I'm like, oh no, I need to I'm behind on podcast stuff. I need to spend 6 or 7 hours doing podcast stuff today.
Yeah, I give myself several breaks a week when I get to work and I'm like, fuck, I didn't take my medicine.
That's fair. Again, that is why I trained my dog to literally drop the medicine on my face every morning so I remember to take it.
Do you know what this means? This means I need to get a dog. I need to come to your house for what? How long will it take to train the dog to do this? Several months, right?
Of course.
And then I can stay at your house with my new dog while you help me train this dog in all of these tasks that I need.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds like a plan to me.
Right. I'm sure Nick would be okay with it. Because, like, it'll be a service animal. He can't say no to a service animal. Right? He doesn't want a dog, but it's a service animal. What?
Exactly.
He'd be a real dick if he said no to that.
He would be a dick. He would be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Service dogs can do a lot for people with ADHD. That's why, one of the reasons why I have Ellie and all what she does, so.
Well, I also have, severe anxiety and CPTSD, so he might be able to help with that too.
Yes. Yeah.
As always, we share a little more than we should about ourselves on this podcast. I think your psychiatrist heard podcast and he poo-pooed that away as like,
immediately.
They dabble in something that's, they don't have anything that's successful or anybody listens to or whatever.
Well, he's not wrong.
He is wrong. He is wrong because I can tell you, I know for sure. Okay, so we have 4 patrons, and
That's
I know
true.
they listen. And I have some people. I have a woman at work now that listens.
Oh,
you have people that live in your apartment complex that listen.
Yeah,
right.
I do. We have some listeners.
We can confidently say we have about 15 listeners.
Yeah, I
so
confidently
fuck that
say
guy.
That. Yeah. I have a lot of work I need to do for 15 people.
Listen, I'll live and die by those 15 people that listen because I have the time of my life doing this podcast.
I agree. Well, we don't have a question today because we realized the question that we had in here already got asked. So,
right. So that was all scripted, unscripted banter.
Yeah. Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed.
But welcome to our Paranormal Postcards, number 5.
Number 5.
Our 5th time bringing you spooky stories from our 15 listeners.
Yes, that's right. And one of those 15 listeners, Katie, owes us some stories. It would probably end up on the next postcards if, Katie, you sent those stories in, Katie.
Yeah. And Lynn.
And everybody that is listening. Lynn.
Yeah, Lynn.
Lynn still hasn't sent them.
No.
Lynn.
I did text her this week, and she did tell me that she would get them sent.
Good.
So hopefully we'll have them by number 6.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a
either.
struggle. It's going to be a struggle to know that story is in the inbox and not read it.
I know. It might be like one of the first times that I actually read a story ahead of time because
right. I was so blown away by the last one. Whew.
Blown. Like I can't believe it.
All right. Let's get into it because they've had enough of us just babbling, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
You can go first.
Okay. So this is from a listener named Nicole, one of our 15.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. And
wait a minute. Nicole might be 16.
Maybe.
We're 16
she might be.
Now.
We might
Nicole,
have. Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole. So this is titled, Hey, Spooky Ghouls. Hi, Jen and Kelly. My name is Nicole. I've listened to your show every week for the past few months when I found your podcast. I'm honored to be one of your 13 listeners.
How funny is that? No, Nicole, we're up to 16 now. You are number 16 and we appreciate
number 16.
You.
The Doppelganger show is what inspired me to write to you. Actually, a few of the topics on that episode pertain to me. First, my whole entire life, well, at least as far back as I can remember, people have called me Michelle. Like, if a person can't recall my name, they say, "Are you Michelle?" No. I've even had people come up to me and say, "You look so familiar. Are you Michelle?" Again, no. I have never met a Michelle in my life. I often wonder if I have a doppelganger out there named Michelle. I wonder if she gets people asking her if she is Nicole. That's definitely interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one of those spaces where people think that they know me, but it's never associated with like one particular name.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that before. That's definitely weird. The next weird thing is twins. I have fraternal twin uncles, both recently deceased. I'm sorry to hear that. I have fraternal twin brothers, and I have fraternal twin sons born in 2011. That's a lot of twins, but they do say twins run in the family and are genetic.
Yeah. Do you know my great-grandmother had 3 sets of twins?
Sorry, I started to read ahead. You may think that's not weird. That's genetics. It's very weird because I'm adopted.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, very weird. I'm not biologically related to anyone in my family. I was adopted by a very loving family that is also huge. I have 3 brothers, the twins, and a younger brother. My mom was one of 6 siblings. My grandmother was one of 14. So I have a ton of cousins and aunts and uncles, and none of them had a set of twins. Just me.
That's interesting.
That is very strange.
My mother was one of 6 as well.
Yeah. My dad was one of 5. My mom was one of 4. And even though I have that many aunts and uncles, I have 3 biological cousins. I got a couple of step cousins.
I don't know the exact amount I have, but I think it's over 10.
Yeah. My dad has 4 sisters and none of them had kids. And then 3, including my mom, out of my mom's siblings had kids.
I'm forgetting someone. It might be around 10. Maybe over. I don't know. I'm not sitting here doing a head count right now. Because my medicine hasn't kicked in, Nicole. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to derail your story. Let's get back to it.
Okay. My mother passed in 2015. While cleaning out her things, I came across my adoption papers, as well as my brother's adoption papers. My birth mother's name was on the papers, and I looked her up. She has passed as well, but I was able to contact a cousin of her. No twins were born on her side of the family. My biological father's information was not put into the papers, unfortunately. Also, my birth mother named me Joy, not Michelle. That would have been really weird if you found out that your birth name was Michelle. That would have been weird, but LOL, another interesting tidbit. On my twin brother's adoption papers, their papers stated that they were heteropaternal superfuncundation.
Funkundation, yeah.
Funkundation. I have no idea what that means. Sorry. Pause. I want to look it up.
I don't know what that means either. Does that mean that they were fraternal, but they had 2 different dads? Because that happens.
That might be what that means. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Heteropaternal superfuncundation is the rare phenomenon of twins having different biological fathers. It occurs when 2 eggs are fertilized by sperm from different men during the same menstrual cycle. How is that was it 2 episodes in a row that we've talked about menstrual cycles?
We can talk about it more. I mean,
Yeah, it's fine.
We were all about making the men uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think we did mention that in the doppelganger episode, but that was a while ago, so I didn't remember. Their fathers were not named, but the father's appearance and personalities were listed. So wild, right? Yeah, that is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. I have 2 daughters as well as my twins. I wonder if one of them will have twins one day. I've always felt that I was meant to be in my adoptive family. Some cosmic force put all these twins together for some reason. I included a photo of my uncles, my brothers, and my twin boys when they were 3. Thank you for taking the time to read. I just wanted you to know that your episode was awesome and I felt like sharing my experience. All of your shows are great. You both make me laugh every week. Keep it up. Oh, stay spooky, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. That's very sweet of you. Oh, P.S. Okay.
There's a P.S. Another quick thing about my adoptive mother. April 22nd was the 10th anniversary of her passing. My mom was my best friend. We called each other twice a day, and she was my everything. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Nicole.
Yeah. Gallbladder cancer took her within a year of her diagnosis. She always sends me signs that she's still around. Butterflies, cardinals, knocks on the wall. But the biggest sign she sends is that every year on Mother's Day, she sets the fire alarm off in my youngest daughter's bedroom. My daughter is named after her, but I kid you not, every damn year since her passing, she sets only that alarm off. And it's usually very early in the morning between 3 and 4 a.m., witching hour. We've tried changing the batteries before Mother's Day. We've made sure the AC vent isn't blowing on it. We've never fully disconnected it, though. I don't think I want to know if it will turn on with no power. It used to scare me and my daughter, but now we look forward to it every year. It's comforting in a way because I know she's still looking after me and protecting her grandchildren. I have chills.
That's wild.
Insane that it happens every year around the same time.
Yeah. And Nicole, I'm really, really sorry about your mom. I lost my dad in 2016 and I didn't even like him, and it's hard. So I can't imagine losing a parent that's your best friend.
Yeah, that is
listen, my dad and I had a very complicated relationship, obviously, because of his alcoholism, and trying to build a relationship when he got diagnosed with cancer and then passed away. Yeah. I loved him, but he drove me insane.
Fair enough. But that's awesome. Definitely sounds like she's looking out for you, and I love that she sets the fire alarm off.
Yeah. My turn?
Your turn.
Okay. Oh, we have a little short one from Heather, who is one of my best friends. I met Heather in 1986. She's been in my life forever.
Yeah, we read some of her stories on the last episode, I think.
Yes. She was the one that heard like the music box playing in the cemetery. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
Yeah. So Heather says, "Hello, Kelly and Jen. As Kelly mentioned in an earlier episode, my mom passed away January 31st, 2025. So today was my first Mother's Day without her. Well, she sent a sign to let me know she is here with me." It would be wild if Heather's fire alarm went off.
It would be.
"My dad and I just got back to the house, and on the island in my kitchen was a memorial card for her service flipped up with a name showing. I have one hanging on my fridge, but that's the only one I am aware of that I have. I asked Rob, my husband, to ask if he happened to come across it and set it there. He said no, and no one else has been there besides us, my dad, and his dog Maggie. And the one is still hanging in its place on my fridge."
That's weird.
That is weird. And if I recall from Heather talking to me about this, because I told her to send this in, it happened again where she found it in another spot. And then she asked her husband if he moved it. And he was like, no.
No.
Yeah.
That's weird. And also weird that the order we randomly copied these into the episode template was this order, that
Mother's
these two signs about Mother's Day came up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when somebody dies and somebody says like they're still with you, it makes you angry.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're not. They're dead. They're not here. I remember feeling that. But then you have these little moments where it's like, that, but they kind of are.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
It's in a completely different way. It's not the way we want.
But it is comforting to know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so our next story is the almost possession of Jendi. Hi, Jendi.
Hi, Jendi.
I have been really excited to read this one because Jendi is one of our patrons, and I think she joined in like May, and she sent this story in right before we recorded the last Paranormal Postcards episode, and we had already had all the stories picked out, and I kind of was hoping we would have time to fit this one in, but we didn't. So I had to push it to this one, and I've just been really excited to read it because Jendi's a really cool person.
Almost possession sounds pretty cool.
Exactly.
And terrifying.
Both. Okay. Hello, Jendi here. I figured I'd send this one in since it was already written up. You may have heard this on Encounters episode 206 of Two Girls, One Ghost podcast. And if you haven't listened to Two Girls, One Ghost, go listen to them because they're funny girls. But
I'll take your word.
Yeah, you should listen to them. But as you've said to send things in, we've already sent to other podcasts. Here it is. I have said that, and I still stand by it. I know a lot of podcasts out there that do listener stories like we do. And if anybody has ones that they've previously typed up, just write us a short little intro so we're not reading the intro for the other podcast, and send it in. Work smart, not hard, guys.
Right, because there's no guarantee that all 16 of our listeners listen to that other podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, send it in.
Yeah. And I may have heard this on that episode, but I definitely am not going to remember it because, ADHD. Right. Here is the story of how I was almost possessed. The year was 2001. I had just graduated high school a year prior and had recently freed myself from a terrible and corrupt job wherein one of the duties was using what amounted to a staple gun on ears of screaming, terrified children. Claire's was not a fun place to work. I was going to say, it wasn't Claire's. That sounds like Claire's. It was a liminal time as I had not yet decided to go off to a 4-year university, instead opting to enroll in the local community college in the fall. That left me with plenty of time to myself. I spent my days hanging out at my friend Kay's house, watching classic horror movies and having vegetarian picnics in the cemetery. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Or driving up to Skyline Drive in her trusty purple 1970s Super Beetle. Skyline Drive, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. It's in the mountains near us somewhere. Okay. West Virginia?
I think I've either been there or my dad's been there. I don't know. That just sounds really familiar.
So we used to go to like a timeshare thing when I was a kid in Massanutten. And I believe it was in Virginia, I think. And I think we took Skyline Drive to get there. I think it just goes through that mountain range.
Okay. So it is a 105-mile road that runs along the crest of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Shenandoah National Park, Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. I've definitely been there or driven on it. It just sounds really familiar. Sorry. Remember, I'm not medicated today, guys. It was a comfortable sort of spring with cool nights and warm days, the summer humidity having not yet crept in with its oppressive heat. On this particular evening, I was at Kay's house. She rented the upstairs and shared it with several cats. I mean, best roommates, except maybe several dogs.
Yeah.
Our friend Sandy had come to visit as well, and we were sitting around the living room talking about magic while burning Kyphi incense. Kyphi? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Kyphi. And listening to the Dune soundtrack, the old 1984 David Lynch version. I remember these details very clearly, as well as the moment the feeling began. It began like a moth fluttering against a window, soft and gentle and unobtrusive. I could feel it, but not physically. This was purely a mental feeling. I was 19 at the time, an age which, even in the best of times, was still rife with bouts of melancholy. So the sudden feeling of listlessness was not out of the ordinary for me. I mean, same. The only indication that something was strange was the continued moth wing feeling, as though something was testing the edges of my mind. I remember thinking to myself that I should lie down on the couch, that no one actually cared if I just disappeared. Oh, we would care, Jen. I know this was 19-year-old.
I know, but like, what would our Patreon be without you?
Exactly.
Right? Like our Discord with you in it, it's like, it's so fun.
It is.
Like you're a valuable member of our little community. So we're glad you're here, and we would certainly miss you if something happened.
We would. The feeling seemed to wrap around me and grip me, and then the moth wings changed to something more like hooks trying to find a way in. That was when the convulsions began. I was shaking so much as sudden waves of something moving me, causing my back to bow and my whole body to jump off the couch. No, thank you.
Nope, I'm out.
We had to put a pillow behind my head because I kept hitting it on the wooden backrest. At first, the spasms were so strong that I couldn't speak. I managed to sign for water, though, as I was horribly thirsty for no reason. My friends were understandably worried. Yeah, I would be. They brought me water, and I drank the entire glass down in seconds. I don't remember if I spilled it all over myself at any point, as I was too busy being terrified. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
This continued for what felt like forever, but likely only 5 to 10 minutes. It was utterly terrifying not being able to communicate, knowing that something was trying to get in. I may not have been able to speak for that time, but inside my mind, I was doing battle with whatever was trying to overtake me. After a time, I finally managed to get enough of the upper hand that I could speak. I let my friends know what was happening. The spasms were less frequent by then, giving me a minute or so of stillness before starting up again. I remember at one point joking, because what the hell else was there to do at that point, that it was a good thing I wasn't vomiting pea soup. Love the sense of humor while you're getting possessed.
Love it. Yes.
Then another spasm hit me and turned me entirely around so my back was to my friends. It was as though I had levitated momentarily to do so. I was still thirsty, but now my friends knew to add certain herbs to the water to help me fight off whatever this thing was. Smart thinking on your friends' parts.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have just been standing in the corner screaming.
Yeah. You definitely would have. I would have been like, where's my witch stuff? Throwing crystals at you.
Then
get out of her.
I would have just been screaming.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
I wish I could say there was some grand finale to this experience, that I was able to vanquish the entity once and for all. But really, I think it just got bored and gave up. The demon also has ADHD, apparently.
Oh, that's what you want your demons to have, by the way. Like, if they're possessing you and then they get just like kind of lost in their own world for most of the time. And what was I doing?
It tried again briefly the next day, but I was ready for it at that point. To this day, I don't know what exactly it was. The house Kay was renting was in a strange, older part of Charlottesville, but it was a relatively new house for the area. Could it have something to do with the Book of Going Forth by Day, also known as the Book of the Dead? Kay had an interest in ancient Egyptian mysticism and had been reading her copy around that time. The incense may have played a part as well. I'm sure I'll never know. But what I do know is that it remains one of the most terrifying paranormal incidents I've ever experienced, so much so that for years after, I wore black onyx for protection. I need to hear the other terrifying experiences that rank up with this, because you said one of, not the most.
Right. So there's more, Jendi, and I think you're holding back.
I think you're holding back.
Send those stories
We need those stories as well.
Yeah.
I'm planning on getting another of my experiences typed up in the next week or so.
Oh, well, that's great. Okay.
I think we have another one from her waiting. I don't remember. I'd have to check. But if you haven't, you sent this email a while ago, Jendi, so we're due for another one.
Yeah. And if you only sent one more in and you have several stories, it's time for a third.
Yeah, absolutely. After all, I did promise you the story of what happens when teens at a sleepover decide to skip the Ouija board altogether and go straight to necromancy. Yeah, I would love that one. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful podcast. I hope to hear much, much more from you, Jendi.
Oh, that was sweet.
I love that. Yeah, send us the rest of those stories, because, yeah.
Oh, we do have one from Jendi in here.
Oh, perfect. See,
yeah. Another one that I'm reading.
Yeah, I got this episode ready like a month ago, so I don't even remember whose stories are in it.
Did you give me Katrona's story because you knew that there's going to be a lot of words that are hard to pronounce in it?
I didn't because I have a Katrona story as well. So.
Oh, okay.
I
so
think
we're both going to struggle.
Yeah, we had 2 Katrona stories, and I split them up between the 2 of us.
Okay. This story is from Katrona. Katrona is a patron of ours, and we love her dearly, and she's always sending us wonderful stories.
Yes, she is.
I think going back to our first, was it from our first Paranormal Postcards?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was on that episode.
Yeah. I think she's been on every Paranormal Postcards episode.
I think she has. She has a lot of stories.
Right, and we love it. Keep sending them in, Katrona. She says, hello again, ladies. Here's my belated start on the emails about reincarnation. I was interested in reincarnation since I was in primary school and read about Buddha and the many reincarnations he purportedly had. I was raised in the Church of England and was worried that believing in reincarnation went against Christianity and was confused. I asked during confirmation class around age 12 about reincarnation, and our vicar told me that Jesus had recognized John the Baptist as the reincarnation of the prophet Elijah, so it was okay to believe in it. I have never heard that. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was still the beginning of me moving away from Christianity to paganism, but I'm going to fast forward to us 6 years later, when we'd been in the U.S. for 3 years and my best friend from the U.K. came over to visit after we both graduated. On one of the trips we did while she was here was going to Casadega, though I'm disappointed we never actually got readings while we were there. But we did browse through the hotel gift shop, and my friend found a book on past life regression, which actually has a regression hypnotherapy script in it. Ooh. Something we talked about during our catch-up evening when she first arrived. And given it was only about $5, I bought it, and we decided to try it out that night. Some of this part might be a little merged and all over the place because we regressed each other every night, and some days while we were at home by ourselves, given my parents were at work, because we were so fascinated. And some of it is things that came up in college when she and I were emailing back and forth about different dreams and meditations we had done about it. What can I say? We were hyper-focused.
I know what that feels like.
Yeah. My friend went under first, and once we got to the part of the hypnosis where she was answering questions about what she was seeing, she spoke about meeting a man in the forest who was chewing leaves, but the description she gave of the trees and the place that the man took her was definitely not in the Northern Hemisphere or in any recent time. Eventually, she pieced together that she had been running from the coast to find people who could help her because there were people dying in her village, being killed by people they thought were there to trade. She needed help. Her family and friends needed help. And at this point, she was getting panicked. So I brought her out of the hypnotic state.
That's fascinating.
That's interesting.
I've always wanted to have this happen, like go get a past life regression reading, hypnosis type thing.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
Yeah.
The next night, it was my turn. I spoke about being with a woman who was calling me her Ida. Hopefully, my phonetic spelling doesn't suck this time. No, it's not you. It's us. Katrina, don't ever think it's you. It's definitely us. Yeah. And how I was showing her around. She spent the night sleeping in my bed because she was exhausted, and then went to the main town, which I lived on the far outskirts of being essentially the local weirdo. I had an older sister, and my parents were basically the mayors, which turned out to be the reason that even though I was kind of a kook, I hadn't been kicked out to live somewhere else. I was just left to my own devices because I kept talking about doom coming, and I was worried if they associated her with me, they wouldn't believe what she had to tell them and ask about. So I had my sister take her into town herself.
Okay. So it sounds like you were like the village idiot.
Right. Which is great because the village idiot sometimes ends up being the smartest person around.
For sure.
Sometimes.
Unfortunately,
in our society today, we have a lot of village idiots and they are not correct.
Other times they just end up being president.
Right. Unfortunately. During the course of a few days, we realized that this was two sides of the same story. That she wasn't calling me her Ida, she was calling me my Ida, which is the actual name. I just misinterpreted it in the first regression I had. Her name was Namaya. I'll voice chat them into Discord or something. Probably better. I think I missed that.
I don't think she did, but that's okay. If you did, we definitely missed it.
Yeah. I forget what my sister's name was, but there was a whole something to do with her betrothed, for lack of a better term, who I did not like at all. And he was one of the warriors and came back hurt from some sort of head wound. He was healed, but then started being violent towards sister.
Oh, no.
Yeah, seriously. And I arranged with a couple of other guys, including someone who had a crush on sister, to help him disappear in the forest, attacked by jaguars or something. Way to be, Katrona. Way to look out for your sister.
Yes. Love that.
Yeah, the jaguars got him. I don't know what to tell you.
The jaguars. I mean, come on.
You're going to Carol Baskin this bullshit.
Absolutely. Carol Baskin.
We worked out eventually that we were in Peru. But there was a whole weird conversation between Nim and Maida about whether or not food and things came in baskets, which he thought, but she didn't. And it came about that his parents hadn't lived in the town they were in. I found out in a Native people's elective in college that the Incas would take over areas and maintain the rule partly by implanting people in towns and villages to continue running things so that the smaller tribes they were absorbing continued to run things in the Incan standards. And that part of that involved packing up tributes of food and goods and shipping them to the Incan capital. We may or may not have started referring to the Incans as the Borg after that, because they were absorbing the tribes, taking what they liked, such as beading or fabric making or recipes, and then training the town to do everything else in the proper Incan standards. There was another thing that came up from Maida's childhood, where he looked at the sun god, and it had punished him, which was part of the reason some gave him a wide berth. Every so often, he and sister and their parents had to go back to the capital, so they would travel with the current allotment of baskets and go to certain ceremonies in the main temple. They were arranged so that at whatever time of day they were conducted, the sun would enter the temple and reflect off the gold statues and the wall reliefs and fill the temple with bright light. But you had to keep your head bowed. Well, guess which idiot looked up at some point during one of the ceremonies? Yeah, me. In my regression, it cut from looking up to being picked up off the floor, all disoriented, and rushed outside for my transgression. That's interesting.
Yeah.
During a regression of my friends, we realized what must have actually happened. She was staying with Maida, and he got sick. She described what she was seeing happen to him, and we realized it was probably just an epileptic seizure, and that the incident in the temple must have triggered his first.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And whenever time period this was, they probably didn't know what that was.
Right.
A lot of times they were like, demon! You're possessed by a demon!
They probably still think that. It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Still, no one believed Nemea about the danger of visitors who came on giant ships to her village. But she had no one to go back to, so she stayed with Maida, not really knowing where she would fit in. And as you might guess from this sort of story, they got together. But were also somewhat obsessed, understandably, with proving the danger that was bound to be coming for them. They wound up taking a trip back towards the area the visitors were at, trying to find evidence that they could use to show everyone that there really was a threat. The two of us were investigating a camp and got spotted. I don't remember what we had taken. I do remember the burning pain in my left shoulder as we ran. And my friend talking about the healer picking tiny pebbles out of him before binding the wound and trying desperately to appeal to my parents that people with weapons like this could not have good intentions. We're sadly not sure what happened to Nim and Maida. There was some instance from him that she needed to go with his family to somewhere. For some reason, he thought he wasn't going to be able to go with them. Maybe infection from his wound? Not sure. There is a memory that I think of from him of being trapped in a box and her talking to him from the outside. That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Sadly, life has taken my UK friend and I into the sort of direction where we talk to each other maybe once a year. And neither of us has really talked about Nim and Maida for years. Maybe it's best that I never saw the end. I can imagine they're together in wherever that he was trying to send her. Peace, Katrona. I can't read today. So if that sounds like I was stumbling through it, it was me.
I'll make her sound more intelligent when I edit.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll get rid of a lot of the stumbles.
That's why I love having such a talented editor for the podcast.
Yeah. But that is absolutely fascinating because I've always been interested in past lives, and I would love to get my own reading and dive into that.
I think it's fascinating how she was saying it would be interesting to see if you and I knew each other in a past life.
Yeah.
Who were
Agreed.
we? Were we sisters? Was I your dad? Were we lovers? You never know.
Probably all of the above.
If you keep going back, and they say
enough.
that souls continue to find each other in every lifetime.
Yeah.
So for me, it makes sense that everybody that you feel very close to has been in your life.
Yeah.
If past lives are real, then every single person you're close with has been a part of your life.
Yeah. Okay. So I have another Katrona story.
Okay.
And this one is titled, The Ghost Who Wanted to Come for Lunch. Hello again, ladies. As requested, here is the story from when my fiance, Kevin, not that Kevin, meaning not the Kevin in our Patreon group, and I were in New York back in 2021. And a ghost wanted to come with us for lunch. This was brought up because while we were watching the Patreon bonus mini episode today, he made the comment that we hadn't had any spooky experiences together and was wondering if he was bad luck. The story that I'm about to tell took place in 2021, though it has been a while since something has happened. The day started with us, somewhat masochistically, going to the 9/11 memorial site and looking around. The energy there was oppressive, suffocating, overwhelming, and the place was so noisy spiritually. But then I expected that to a degree. The fact that it happens even when you're shielded, though, the ears stuffed up, ocean roar of pain, fear, and sorrow, it's so loud, and I spent several years living in St. Augustine as an unshielded baby psychic. After a little while of us walking around the memorial site, Kevin, concerned I was getting overwhelmed, suggested we go somewhere to eat, and we elected to walk to a sort of gastropub that was practically around the corner. While we were there, I went to the restroom, which required going downstairs and across a bar area that wasn't currently in use. While I was crossing the floor, I felt someone close by, but there was no one physically there. It was hard to focus as much as I was still drained, so all I could really get was a satisfaction about being there and the idea that the person was just vibing. I like that, just vibing in a bar.
Yeah.
What's a better place to haunt? I told Kevin about my experience, and I went back to the table, and he encouraged me to ask the waitstaff if the place had any activity, and then backed me up when I sucked up my nerves and asked if the place was haunted. The waitress was mostly confused about the idea, which was fair. I ask that all the time whenever I go anywhere in downtown St. Augustine. I'm like, is this place haunted? And they look at me like I'm crazy most of the time. I'm like, come on, guys, you live in St. Augustine. Of course I'm going to ask if it's haunted.
Do you know how many ghost tours are down here? Do you think that that's for no reason?
By the expression on her face, I was clearly the first person to ask her about something like that ever. And as we were leaving, I overheard her snarking about it with the person at the host stand. But never mind. Don't be snarky.
There's no reason to be like that.
No, don't be rude.
Especially if you're going to do it. Make sure the person you're being snarky about isn't walking past you.
Yeah.
You dumb bitch.
I just want to make that clear that we were talking about the waitress, not Katrona. We love Katrona.
Of course. No, we were talking about the person doing the snarking. And there's no reason to be snarky, you dumb bitch. See, because we're not snarky at all. Dumb bitch.
Whore. I had recorded several batches of video that day on my TikTok account. And when I was reviewing the bits and bobs later on, I realized that the spirit had followed us. While I had been at the 9/11 memorial, I'd been encouraging those who were ready to move on and attempting to guide them to whatever light would be best for them. It's something I do at times when I'm leaving work at the hospital too. But part of the phrasing that I picked up from somewhere involves letting people know that there's a spiritual thread which connects them to loved ones and they can visit them and hopefully find peace that way. But only if that will bring their loved one peace as well. So I have to wonder if the spirit had some sort of connection to the pub and heard us discussing lunch options and decided to tag along and revisit the place for one last hurrah before moving on. Stay spooky, Katrona.
I kind of love that she does that at the hospital when she's leaving.
Yeah.
Because you know people die in a hospital all the time.
Exactly. That's so nice. So I know we said that we have one more from Jendi, and we do, but you're going to have to wait until the next Paranormal Postcards to hear that because we don't want this episode to be too long. So tune in.
Yes, because you will hear it.
You will hear it. I'm literally just going to copy and paste, but it's a long one, and I don't want to rush through it and make this episode too long. I want to give proper credit where credit is due because it's from Jendi, so I'm sure it's an amazing story.
Correct.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this month's Paranormal Postcards.
If you loved what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Your support helps us reach more listeners and share even more spooky stories.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Not My Ghost Podcast. And on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. And go subscribe to our subreddit, Not My Ghost Podcast, because we got one of those now too.
We do.
And if for whatever reason you don't want to email us your paranormal postcards, go put them in the subreddit because we'll take them from the subreddit and read them on the episodes as well.
We will. If you want even more ghostly content, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/notmyghost.notmyproblem. We have some fantastic exclusive perks for our supporters.
We do. And you could join the likes of Jendi and Katrona and Kevin and Danny. I realize Danny is the only name of our patrons that we didn't say on this episode, so we have to throw her in there too.
Oh, well, because she was our first patron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Danny will always have that special place deep in our hearts.
She will. And we've met her in person, so, you know.
We partied with her. I mean,
we did.
That's how we met her.
We crashed her bachelorette party. I mean.
Hey, we were invited.
We were invited. They
invited us right on into it.
They did. They adopted us into the bachelorette party for that night, and it was a great time.
And if you have ever had a spine-tingling paranormal encounter, share your story with us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com. And you will hear it featured on a future episode. And like Jen said, if you don't want to email it, go to our subreddit and post it there.
Post it there. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey through the unsettling tales of our listeners. Remember, as you write in your spooky stories, keep this in mind.
If it's not your ghost.
Nope.
What? What do you mean? It says if it's not your ghost.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't.
Oh, if it is your ghost. I'm only looking at the word ghost, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Doesn't say not my ghost.
If it is your ghost.
It is your problem.
Until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.